So for some of us, sometimes, me not in a good place in my walk with the Lord right now can get me in a bad place, and circumstances just happen in me because I'm lazy, sloppy, and undisciplined in some areas of my life. Now, was that the enemy, or was it just me not taking care of my business? You see what I mean? Why is that the enemy? Why is it not me? I'm just as responsible. You know, we had marriage retreat every year. But I've said every year, I don't need a marriage retreat. It doesn't fit my schedule. Well, my marriage needs a marriage retreat, whether I believe I need a marriage retreat or not. It's my job to recognize that my marriage might need a marriage retreat and get my tail signed up for that marriage retreat and go sit and eat on the Word of God and drive my roots deep, because the storms are going to come and beat against my marriage and my house, and it'll fall if I don't take care of my house. You see what I mean? So if I'm neglecting what God's putting in front of me and I'm not eating well, but storms come and I'm so scrawny and just a little bitty wimp in my walk with Christ and I fall over, is that the enemy doing that to me, or is that me putting myself in a bad spot? I'd argue it's probably you being sloppy. We got to take care of our business. Or is it God? Is it the enemy? Is it me? Or is it God? Malachi 3:3 says that God is a refiner of fire. That means that God sometimes will refine me in the edges in my life. God will put me in a fire, test me, take me out, chisel me and sharpen my edges, attitude, things like that. And then he'll look at it, and if he feels like it needs to go back in the fire, he'll put it back in the fire. And I'm like, God, I'm good. I couldn't be any better. I'm great. He's like, nah, you ain't there yet. Sticks right back in. And he pulls you back out. And then he says, not bad. He chisels on you a little bit, sharpens you a little bit more. And what is he looking for in each one of us? He's looking for his reflection when he looks at it. He's trying to get you and me to look like him. And sometimes it's not the enemy. And sometimes it's not me. Sometimes it's God refining me to be more like him. So it can be the enemy. It can be me. It can be God. Proverbs 27:17 is iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another man. Can I say this to you? God can do Proverbs 27:17 in your life. God can be the iron up against your iron that sharpens you to reflect him better. Sometimes God does Proverbs 27:17 for us, okay? So let me ask a simple question. If a believer has a flat tire, is that the devil? So if a believer has a flat tire and that's the devil, when a lost person has a flat tire, is that the devil? Because the lost person having a flat tire caused by the devil, why would God do that? Because that dude's working for the devil anyway. But if a saved person has a flat tire, then it's the devil? Well, maybe not. Maybe it's you who knew your tire tread was about a 3 or a 4, and you keep acting like you don't see Discount Tire sitting there waving at you saying, hey, you need some new tennis shoes because these are terrible. And now you're coming home at midnight and you have a blowout and you're a flat on the side of the road. That's not the devil. That's you being sloppy with tires on your car, and you should have done it a long time ago. And God just said, well, he's just going to have to learn this way, I guess. But I know a lot of saved people that every time something happens to them, they blame it on the devil. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's them. What if the lost person, driving home from work, has a blowout allowed by God, so that God can send an angel to pull up behind them and change that flat tire for that unbeliever? And maybe that unbeliever realizes what's been done here as the believer speaks into his life. And maybe the believer says, hey, man, you got a church home? Nah, I've been thinking about church, and I've been really thinking about God. I need to get some things right in my life and my marriage and my kids. Well, man, I go to this church right here. You should come on Sunday. And that dude comes on Sunday. And he comes again. And he comes again. And one Sunday, He comes down and gives his life to Christ and is born again and is baptized. He goes home and tells his wife what just took part in his life. And now she starts coming and the kids start coming. Well, she gives her life to Christ and she's saved. And one of the kids gets saved too. And all of a sudden you got a whole changed family, a whole changed marriage, and everything's done differently. Why? Because God allowed a flat so he could send an angel to a lost man to make a connection and do relationship to get them into the house of God, so the Spirit of God can fall on him and save him just like that. That flat wasn't the enemy, that flat was God. Because God used it to change a man's life. Be careful with circumstances is what I'm asking. Every time, always, every single time, ask this simple question in circumstances. Father, what do you say about this? What do you say about this? What do you say about this?